Welcome back, all of you, from your lunch. Now let's move on to our second session, which talks about data analytics in product management with the objective of understanding how data analytics would be used in product management. Now I'd like to pass the time over to the moderator for this session, Asher Chung. Asher is a student in Bachelor of Software Engineering, specializing in data science. Without further ado, the floor is yours, Asher.
Thank you, Choyin. So moving on, for this session, we'll be having Mr. Tabraiz, Feham, the Director of Product Development at TravelCompute. So now I'll pass this time over to you to start this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asher. Thanks a lot. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I'll go and share my screen first. Please let me know if you are able to view my screen.
Yes, Ken. Yeah,
Excellent. Great. Okay, so my name is Tabraiz. I'm the Director of Product Development for TravelCompute. TravelCompute basically is a one-stop travel platform for travel and tourism that encompasses all travel and tourism related product into one umbrella. So we started building this platform about 10 years ago, and the idea was to build a one-stop travel solution for all the travel needs. The solution was aimed at the corporate and business travel solution. So not only that, we actually made it a one-stop travel solution with the ability to book flights, hotel, transportation, tours, insurance, and all the travel related products into one umbrella. But we also build the end-to-end travel technology stack, like the travel CRM, back office system, accounting and finance, travel big data analytics, all into one stack and one umbrella. So currently this product is being used by some of the major corporates and GLCs and SMEs in Malaysia, and we are expanding this product into other markets as well. So I would actually try to relate during this presentation on my experience on building this product and try relating it with data analytics presentation as well. First of all, we will look at the agenda. These are the big questions that we would like to and we would try to address. First and foremost, what is product management? What is it all about? We will try to look into that. And then we will see what is data analytics and how it relates to the product management, how it applies to the product management, how it actually applies to the overall product management workflow, and how can you become a data-driven product manager. So this is what precisely we would be looking into. Then we will go deeper into what are the different types of data analytics, and then why in the first place we care about it. Why does it even matter? We will look into that as well. And then we will see how does the overall workflow work, starting from the goal or the idea down all the way down to the insights. How does this process actually work? So we will deep dive into that as well. Then we would look into what kind of data should we be collecting, and where should exactly we be collecting this data from. And I would be specifically highlighting some of those tools which I have been using throughout my career related to the data and analytics, especially from the industry perspective. What I would be highlighting is two kinds of tools. The first tool is a set of tools that, of course, if you want to become a data analyst or data scientist, of course, you have to be hands-on into that. But I would be going deeper into another set of tools which are being used by the industry to drive their products, to drive the data management for their products, and how to harness the features and the benefits of those tools to make better product and deliver better product experiences. So we'll look into that, and then we will also see how to take effective measures and actions using those tools. And finally, we will see how you can actually become a data-driven product manager. What are the tools? What is the skill set? What is the ladder? What is the pathway you need in order to become a effective and data-driven product manager? So let's deep dive right away. into the product management. What exactly is product management? Product management is an organization or not, it's a question on itself as well. So you need to come up with an idea, and right away you need to come up with the business justification as well, whether this idea that you have, whether it will make a good business justification or not, whether there is already a competition in the market or not, whether somebody else is doing, if somebody else is doing the same thing, whether you can come up with something better. So it's all about justifying your business, and then you would plan about your idea, like how exactly you are going to develop it, how many resources would you need, how much time you would need to actually develop a prototype, and to be convinced that it is a product that can sell, and then it is a product that you can take it to the market, and then it is a product that you can actually make revenue and profits out of it. So it's part of this planning phase. And then verification is always done in product development and product management, verification is always done by using and developing a prototype. So the first thing that you should be developing right away is shooting for a prototype. A prototype is a agile or quick way of developing a product, a basic minimal viable product that you can take into the market, and you can justify your idea, and you can come up with a rationale that this is a product that can sell. And then you will do the rest of the steps of the product management, like forecasting. You will do the market research and come up with the pricing strategy as well. And then finally, you would launch a minimum viable product that can sell into the market. And then you will go ahead and do the marketing as well. So that is all part of the product development life cycle. And it's a cycle, because it's a continuous process. Once you have launched it and once you have marketed it, you would start to right away start building the next version of the platform, adding more features, bringing in more ideas, making it even more viable, improving the user experience. So this cycle keeps on going, and that's all about product management. Next, we will look into the data analytics in product management. Like, how does the data analytics relate to product management? So data analytics in product management refers to capturing data from relevant sources about the product and its usage. So when you say that the data has to be collected about the product, like who are the customers, who are the users who are using the product, how exactly are they using the product, what are the demographics, and then you can go deeper into the usage, what is the user experience, and then from there you reveal the insights about the user experience. And at the end of the day, the data actually applies to each and every single step of the product development that you are employing. So I would like to go back to this first slide to relate it to how the data analytics actually relates to each and every single step of the product development, and how being a data-driven product developer, how you can apply the data analytics strategy to each and every single step of the product development. And I would like to give you an example of my hands-on example of developing a travel technology platform. So over the years, we have built this platform, and how did the idea actually come into our mind of building this platform? So if I were to just give you a canvas of the travel and tourism industry, it's actually a very dynamic and quite complicated industry. So if I were to put it into the business travel context, because we are talking about business travel over here. So let's say if a traveler has to travel to Europe, and they would go to a travel agency, and they would ask them to book them flights and hotels and transfer and insurance for their Europe trip. So when we were looking at 10 years ago, when we were looking at the business case for our company, we found out that it's a very diverse and segregated industry. So let's say if you have to make a booking, you have to actually go to flight reservation platform. In travel and tourism industry, it's called global distribution systems. So if you have to book flight, you have to go to a global distribution system to centrally book all kinds of flight on one platform. So that was one system that all the travel agents had to use in order to book flights. So that was one of the components. And now we are still talking about booking one single trip. Now, once they have booked the flight, and the process can take like searching a flight and then booking it, making sure the availability is there. The process itself can take about 20 to 25 minutes. Then the next step for them would be to go and book hotel. Now, booking the hotel with optimized rates is also challenging. So our travel consultants were using 2 or 3 different systems in order to make sure that they can get the best hotel rates. They were going to the sites like Expedia or Agoda or Trivago to check the rates over there. And then they were going to B2B platforms as well to make sure that they can get better rates. And then they were actually booking it in one of those platforms. So this will take another 10 to 15, 20 minutes, depending on the complexity. And then they will go and find the transfer option. And in transfer, airport transfer or car hire, they were working with the relevant operators and partners in the country. So they would have to go into another platform and book it over there. And then when you talk about insurance, they would go to another platform and book it over there. And then they have to combine this all manually and then furnish the itinerary, generate the itinerary, and then furnish it to the customer. So the process itself was taking about an hour. So what we did, the idea came that there has to be a single platform. And what we found out that how did the data analytics come into this phase, the idea? So we looked into all kinds of data, all sorts of data originating from this workflow. So we looked at how many bookings the agents are doing, how much time is it taking them, and then what kinds of bookings they are doing, and what is the frequency of those individual bookings, and then how the tickets are being issued, and all these kinds of parameters and matrices. We looked into that, and then we came up with insights. And we also, another aspect of actually this idea phase and business justification phase is to actually get into the feet of the users. So what we did, we sat with them and we did the walkthroughs of the product, and we tried to understand their existing workflow, how exactly they are booking, what steps they are performing. So from there, we actually brought all this data into a dashboard, and then we came up with a analogy that if we can actually reduce this timing of 1 hour, 1.5 hours to booking a complex trip, we can actually build a platform, a one-stop travel solution that can streamline the business operation. And rather than them having to go to so many platforms, if there is one platform, we can minimize time. So when we did a little bit of prototyping, that was part of planning and verification stage, we did come up with a basic prototype. And then we were able to reduce the timing from, like, for a simple booking from 30 minutes to we were able to reduce it to 3 to 5 minutes. For complex bookings from 1 hour, we were able to reduce it to 5 to 10 minutes. So that was the business value that we were bringing. And obviously it made a business case for the app and for the platform. So we did started developing this platform, and then at that time, another aspect that you have to view from the data analytics perspective, that you have to look at your competition and you have to look at the rationale of your product. So when we came up with the idea and we had the prototype in place and we thought that this could be a very good business model, why don't we develop this product and take it into the market? And why don't we develop it for business only, but we develop it for the consumer or leisure market as well, so that we can launch a product and we can, take this website all over. So we started analyzing some of the competition data and some of the industry benchmarks. So we looked at starting looking at some of the leading players in the market like Expedia, Agoda, Booking.com, some of the other major players. When we started analyzing their reports, so what we were looking at is their traffic, for example, how many people are visiting their website. We started looking at their booking data. We started looking at their annual financial statements. And from there on, we came to realize that these big companies are spending millions and millions of dollars on the advertising, on marketing of their platform. And being a small company, starting in Malaysian market and Malaysian context, being a small travel group, we didn't have that leverage. We cannot go and compete with a company of the cadre of like Expedia or Booking.com, which is a global company. They are spending millions and millions of dollars. So right away from the data analytics, from the reports, from the insights that we got, from all of that data that we had in the dashboard, we actually decided against going to the leisure market. And in contrast to that, when we looked at Malaysian market and we saw that there is quite a huge potential for business travel, we looked at, for example, one of the GLC, Petronas. We looked at Petronas booking data. Their annual travel spend was 100 million. And then there were other GLCs. And then we looked at the government market. They were spending 1 billion Malaysian ringgit annually on the travel spend across the spectrum. And then we looked at some of the SMEs. And we actually compared it with a leading business travel tool or leading business travel solution in Malaysian market. So we found out that there is no tool, there is no single platform that can aggregate everything into one umbrella and one platform for business travel and can furnish the customers from that platform. So eventually the idea for developing the solution for business was the go-to-market strategy. And this is exactly what we did from the prototyping and our market research and market data analysis and competition data analysis. Right away, we knew that if we build this kind of product, we can crack it. And I mean, by the grace, I mean, we right now TravelCompute is powering one of the largest GLCs, which is Petronas. We are fulfilling their end-to-end operations, and we have some other customers as well. So because of the data analytics, because of the approach that we took 10 years ago and throughout the product development phases, and we took informed decision. That's the most important thing. The whole idea of doing data analytics is to take informed decision about your product, about your competition, about your market, and about your strategy. And whatever you are trying to build, it has to be a data-driven strategy. And eventually, it has paid off as well. Next, we will look into the types of data analytics. What are the major kinds of data analytics? So there are basically 4: descriptive analytics, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. We will look into each of these a little bit deeper to understand a bit more. So let's look into the descriptive analytics. So the descriptive analysis basically is the basic form. It's looking at what exactly happened. So you are trying to actually gather all the data and trying to understand what happened. So this is the first kind of data analysis and is the foundation of all data insight. Of course, is the simplest and most common use of data in business today. And the biggest use of descriptive analysis in business is to track the key performance indicators or KPIs. So you have to actually track, being a product owner, being a product manager, you have to have some kinds of KPIs related to your product, related to your business, and related to your consumers and customers as well. So you want to look at those KPIs, and based on those KPIs, you're driving the entire product development and product management workflow. So the example of those KPIs could be for example, in case of sales and marketing, it could be the number of leads that you are getting and how many leads are actually being converted into opportunity prospects, and then how many leads and opportunities are being converted into an actual business or a done deal. So you would like to see that. And then in the context of sales and marketing, of course, you would like to understand the demographics of your audience and customer. And then you would like to understand your accounts. You would like to know their industry, market segment, their annual revenues, their spending capabilities. All these kinds of features that you would like to understand. From a product development perspective, the KPIs that you would like to have on your dashboard would be like how many people are visiting your website or web application or mobile application, from where they are coming, what is their demographic, what exactly they are doing on the website, which pages they are visiting, how many pages are being hit in a particular day, in a particular week or month, how many leads are you getting from those visitors. So all this kinds of analytics you would be churning out into the KPI dashboard. So this is the basic form, and if I were to highlight the tools that you can actually achieve it, it's quite straightforward. Actually, being a product manager, I would say that you should be very hands-on with all of these tools. So this, if you would like to be a data-driven product manager or product developer or a product owner, these are some of the tools that right away you should start learning. Excel, of course, there, and trust me, Excel can do a lot. If you are good at Excel, you can do quite a lot of things at a very, very, very good scale. But at the same time, you can start to learn some of the other products as well. Tableau is one of the leading data analytics and BI platform, business intelligence platform. So this is not only a data aggregation platform, including all other tools, but you can do your visual analytics as well. Not only you can gather data, you can slice and dice the data, but you also can generate very visual and dynamic dashboards, charts and graphs, visualization. You can basically tell a data story by using this platform step by step. So Tableau is one of the leading, in fact, is number one when it comes to the BI platform. It has been bought by Salesforce.com a couple of years ago, and it still continues to dominate the market. And then you have Power BI. This is my personal favorite. Why I really like Power BI is coming from Microsoft. Why I like Power BI is that we had to build the business intelligence capability into our TravelCompute travel platform. So at that time, we analyzed all of these major tools, including Tableau, Domo, and Power BI. And we ended up going with Power BI because of its integration capabilities. So we ended up integrating Power BI as an embedded BI experience into our platform. It has very powerful and comprehensive APIs to actually do that. So from a product manager, you can look into that if in future you are actually developing a product for the market and you would like to bring in the capabilities of a BI platform right into your product. Power BI could be one of the options. I'm sure Tableau 2 years, 3 years later on, or Domo, they would have also developed those capabilities. But at that time, Power BI was one of the leading tools. And then Domo is also one of very good product, especially when you talk about the visualization. The visualization and charts and graphs are very striking. Data Studio is coming from Google. It's a free platform. Most of these platforms have free versions that you can sign up and start playing around. So Data Studio is coming from Google. You can sign up right away and you can do all kinds of data analytics using Data Studio. And then Looker is also one of Google's product. It's enterprise grade, enterprise level solution. I have had experience of working on hands-on for enterprise solution, and it is a very comprehensive and dynamic solution. There's a myriad of data connectors. You can connect it with all kinds of data sources, whatever kind of data it is. You can actually bring it into Looker and centrally analyze the data and come up with a very powerful insights. So all of these tools, most importantly, are point and click tools. None of these tools you have to learn SQL, structured query language, or some kind of programming language, or you have to learn a particular coding language. None of these tools you have to learn any kind of technical language. All of these are point and click tools. For all of these tools, there is very comprehensive demos, tutorials, and all kinds of help and support available on the web, especially YouTube. If you go to YouTube, just put Power BI tutorial or put Tableau tutorial or Looker tutorial, you will find amazing and very intuitive demos and walkthroughs that you can start to learn. So I would suggest that being a data-driven product manager or product developer, you should definitely be learning at least 2 or 3 of these tools in order to set yourself on this path. Next is diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics is of course the second step, that you would like to know why did something happen. So if you have some data coming in, some analytics coming in, you would like to know why did this event happen in the first place. So this diagnostic analytics actually takes the insights from the previous descriptive analytics, whatever KPIs, whatever data you are collecting, and then you're analyzing it, and then suddenly you see a sharp spike, or you see a downward pattern, or you see some unexpected thing. So you would like to learn that why exactly is this happening. You would like to go deeper into that event and find out that what are the other parameters, what are the other events, what is the other deflection that made it happen. So one of the example could be like a freight company investigating the cause of slow shipments in certain region. So large scale freight companies have, they have the shipments coming in across the globe, and then there could be myriad of reasons that the shipments are being delayed. Maybe there is a traffic issue, maybe there is a political issue into a particular region, maybe the prices have hiked in a certain area. So there could be so many reasons. So being a product manager, being a data-driven product manager, you have to look at the data from all angles. So in the case of an e-commerce platform, for example, a sudden drop in sales or explosion in website traffic, you have an e-commerce app, and suddenly you come across this, that suddenly the traffic dropped off. So you need to go deeper into those issues. Probably it's one of the user experience feature which has stopped working, or probably there is a bug in the platform that has popped up, and that is causing the sudden issues in the website traffic, and people are not actually able to submit their orders or submit their inquiries or things like that. So being a product manager, you have to look at it from all angles and be able to ascertain those events, be able to ascertain those reasons, that why is that happened and what is the reason behind it. Another example could be a SaaS company, software as a service company, drilling down the data to determine which marketing activities increase the signups or subscriptions or trials. So usually what companies actually do is that when they would like to try this out, that we would like to actually get the user to sign up. So they would try to do A/B testing. So they will create 2 or 3 versions of the sign up form, and then they will push those 3 different sign up form to different set of users, and they would start collecting the data and matrices, and then based on the conversion rate, they would be able to determine that if we place this video over here and this content and this big heading with this copy, copyright with the website copy or with the textual information, it is churning out better subscription or better trials. So with A/B testing, they are able to ascertain the reason of the sign up, and then eventually they will adopt that product. So you need to be, being a product developer, you have to be hands-on with A/B testing, you have to be hands-on with drill down analytics, and you should be able to relate the event with the reason of why it happened. In terms of the tool set, I don't see there is a major deflection in terms of the tool set for diagnostic analysis. I think all of the major platforms that we have in place are able to, basic platforms, which you have already seen, Power BI, Tableau. I have just added a couple more, but they are similar platforms. There is no major difference between the first version, prescriptive, and the tools that you have for diagnostics. So if you are hands-on with these platforms, you should be able to perform the diagnostic analytics as well. Now, the third one is interesting. It's called predictive analytics. So predictive analytics attempts to answer the question that what is likely to happen. So this is like prediction. This is like forecasting. You're trying to predict the future. You are trying to predict the outcome of something. And this type of analysis is another step up from the descriptive and diagnostic analysis. And basically what we are doing over here, we are actually summarizing the data. We are working on the data, and we are doing logical prediction. And this heavily is dependent on the statistical modeling. So in order for you to be able to do the predictive analytics, either you have to be a statistical expert, or you should be able to use tools which will enable you to do the statistical analytics or predictive analytics. The examples of it would be fraud detection. It's been done since the past 30 plus years already, that they are using statistical analysis to perform the fraud detection, especially in the credit card industry, insurance industry, and all that. So whenever they have a new lead, they would like to collect as much data as possible, and based on the data that they have collected, they would like to churn out whether this is going to be a good sign up or not, whether this could potentially be a fraud transaction or not. So they have been using it, and it has been taken to the next step already. It could be sales, it could be used in sales forecasting. This is the most common feature. In fact, almost all the organization, enterprise grade organization these days, they have some kind of forecasting tools into their workflow, and that forecasting tool is using statistical based analytics to come up with the sales forecasting. It's also being employed and used in weather forecast. It's also being used in product recommendation. I mean, if you remember from the early days, Amazon has always been using that if you bought this product, you may also like. That kind of thing can actually be done with the predictive analytics. Now, coming to the tools that you can actually use for predictive analytics. So these are some of the industry leading tools. You can go for RapidMiner, TIBCO software, NIME, Ultrarix. S2O.ai has a open source version, which you can pretty much download right away and start using it. SAS is an enterprise grade solution. RapidMiner is quite industry leading in terms of the statistical analysis, and they have the basic sign up version for you to start playing around with that as well. Now, the idea of showcasing this tool is that you don't have to be a mathematician. You don't have to be a statistician in order to perform predictive analytics at this point in time. Previously, yes, there were not very good and supportive platforms that you could have done, but now these established platforms are already there, and I would highly recommend that being a data-driven product manager, product developer, or product owner, you should be looking at least one of these tools and try to get hands-on, because these tools are also point and click tools. These tools, most of these tools don't require customized programming until and unless you require a very highly customized solution. But for you to get started on predictive analytics, you should get hands-on with some of these tools. So it would really pay off down the road. The last one is prescriptive analytics, and is the cutting edge when it comes to the data analytics. And here you are actually trying to learn that how to make something happen. This is the most sought after type of analytics, and very few organizations have the capability to perform these kinds of analytics. So how it is done, it's actually on the basis of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So being a product owner, product developer, product manager, I would say that now in this era, machine learning and artificial intelligence is no more is not anything that you can go easy on. This is something that has become integrated and it required part of your day-to-day workflow. So being a product manager, I would suggest that you don't have to be an expert or you don't have to be a data scientist, but you must understand what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning and how does the process work on a high level, so that being a product manager, you can work with the data science teams or data scientists, you can work with the data analysts, you can work with the ML engineer to design and develop the features which are powered and supported by artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you have to go deeper into deeper into the workflow. I'm not saying that you have to learn to design and develop the AI models or machine learning model, but you must understand how it works. And in a nutshell, I can give an example of, let's say you are a product manager of a company and you need to analyze the sentiment analysis of your audience. And you would like to do that by performing social listening. So let's say you have a large product, and then those products, those users are actually commenting about your product on social media, for example. You are an e-commerce solution where people can go and buy, all kinds of products. Let's say you're Lazada, people can go to Lazada and buy. So people are actually talking about your product as well in the market, and then they are going to Twitter and posting the comments about it. They're going to Facebook, posting the comments about your product. So being a data-driven product manager, you have to collect all this data. You have to perform the social listening. So let's say what you did, you actually collected 100,000 data points coming in from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all these places. And then you gathered all that data into a single place. And what you need to do is actually take a set of this data, maybe 5,000 of these tweets and social media responses from the customer, and then you will sample it, and then you will give this to your data scientist team, and then you will ask them to train this data. So whatever they are tweeting, let's say one tweet, they say, okay, I'm really happy with Lazada, I got my delivery, I'm really happy, awesome people. So that tweet, you will mark it as a happy customer. So you will check it. You will go to that tweet in the database, in that table, and you will mark it as happy. And then you would have another tweet that will say, okay, I got my delivery, but it kind of got delayed, but the product was all right, and I'm okay with it. So you will go and you will mark it as neutral, that particular tweet. And then there would be another tweet that, oh, Lazada, it doesn't work. I ordered something a week ago, it never arrived. I want to chase the customer, I want to chase the supplier, and I'm unable to get hold of them. So you will mark that tweet as unhappy. So you will continue to do that for the rest of the data set, for a set of 5,000. And then based on that, you will train your model. So what actually happened in behind the scene is that it is looking for keywords, and based on the keywords, it is actually stacking and segmenting the data, and it is creating a model based on that. So what you do then, you take this model and apply to rest of the 95,000 tweets. And then you will know that how many people are actually liking your product, are happy with your product, how many people are neutral, and how many people are sad. So you must understand this workflow from the execution viewpoint, so that you can come up with the ideas that you can, in the context of your product, your application, your platform, your mobile app, your digital products or solution, you can apply some kind of machine learning in order to enhance the user experience of your product, in order to enhance the user experience for the end users as well. So other examples, some of the examples are actually listed over here. Transportation industry, this is being done, effective route planning. Take an example of Uber. I mean, they have built their own AI and machine learning platform that effectively ties up the rider and the travelers, and give them the most effective person that can pick and drop them. All these kinds of analytics is all being done in real time, powered by machine learning. Financial market, they have also been using it, where and when to invest. These kinds of decisions are now being taken powered by the AI. Product development, so you can actually apply the AI to determine which feature should be next, because you have a backlog of maybe 100 features, but what should be the feature that is most relevant, that is most required by your customer? So you can apply machine learning and AI as well. And the most common example that we come across of AI and machine learning is content curation. You talk about YouTube, you talk about Netflix, you talk about TikTok. All of these platforms have built-in AI to recommend you the next most suitable thing to be watched. So they have recommendation, they have next most likely product, most likely video that you're going to watch, and it's all being done via the machine learning and prescriptive analytics at the back end. We will look at these tools as well. Of course, the idea of putting these tools is not for you to actually go and learn these tools, but you should have an idea that what are the components, what are the elements of building up AI, building a machine learning algorithm. So people usually start with Python and R, and then they use some of the relevant libraries such as scikit-learn or Keras and PyTorch. And then when they would like to go deeper into deep learning, they will use platforms like TensorFlow and all that. So you can, being a product manager and a product owner, you should be aware of these tools and platforms so that you can work closely with your data team, with your data scientist, with your data analyst and machine learning engineer. But you don't have to go and learn this unless you want to become a data scientist. So for data scientists, these are some of the very basic tools that they should be hands-on. Now we'll look at why data analytics matter in product management. So at the end of the day, I won't go into the detail, but at the end of the day, the whole idea for you is to churn out a better product. And how you can churn out a better product is by understanding the customer, what exactly they are saying, how exactly they are using your product, what is their feedback, what is their demand, how exactly they are using your product. So you have to understand your user, your customer, their market segment, their industry, their vertical, everything you have to be hands-on. And you only can do that by analyzing the data which is being generated by them. So if it is a mobile app, you have to understand their usage, click streams, the time, login, log out, all kinds of patterns you have to look into it. Then you have to be you have to be taking data-driven product decisions. And what does it mean is that you should be at each and every single step of your product development lifecycle, you should be analyzing the data, and everything should be based on the data. So this is something that we have already discussed in detail. Optimize and streamline business processes. So if you actually go with a data-driven approach, you can discover the insights that you can improve your overall delivery. You can optimize and streamline your business processes. If you don't look at the data, if you don't see the patterns, you won't be able to achieve that. So that's the reason that product management, this should be something which should be an integrated part of your day-to-day life cycle. And at the end of the day, when you're doing all these three things, eventually you're minimizing the risk and you are basically churning out a better product. Next, we will look into how the overall process works. So being a product manager, the first thing that you should be having is to align your goals. What are the goals that you have? So once you have set out the goals, that what exactly you would like to do, you have to list down the KPIs, key performance indicators. So once you have the KPIs, based on those KPIs, you should have some matrices, what exactly you would like to track. And once you start tracking those, eventually you have insights. So in this example, we are looking at YouTube. Let's say YouTube, the goal is to increase user engagement. That's the big goal of your data analytics exercise, for example. So being a product manager, you would like to increase the user engagement. So the KPIs for the user engagement would be minutes viewed per user. Like if a user comes to your website, how many minutes he's spending on your videos on your platform. And then another thing that you would like to view and track and measure is the channel subscribers. So when you talk about minutes view, you go down to the matrix, like unique videos, starts per user. How many users clicked and started watching the video? Then how many videos were completely watched by the user. So you would start tracking these matrices. And in terms of channel subscriber, how many channel subscriber per video watch, and then how many unsubscribers per video watched. So you would start to gather all of this data, and then based on that, based on these analytics, based on these matrices, you would be able to churn insights. What kind of videos are driving the highest engagement? Where are those people who are coming from? What is the demographic? What is the male and female segregation? And what are those regions? And all these kinds of insights you can actually base on that. Next. Yeah, this is interesting. What kind of data you should be analyzing? So there are basically three major categories. Number one, first and foremost, user data. Of course, you need to understand the demographic of your users, the behavior of your users, how they are coming to your platform, how exactly they are using it, click stream, their journey, their path across the platform or app. You must be able to ascertain that. And there are various tools, already established tools to do that. Then you should be looking at the social signals from all across the social media. You should be looking at online reviews. You should have the capability in your platform and in your app to collect the instant customer feedback. I will touch base into the tools very shortly to give you a hands-on idea of how it is done. And then in terms of the product development, in terms of the product data, you would be looking at user flows, metadata, bounce rate, adoption rate, heat maps. I'll give you a very good example of that. And if it is a hardware product, you would be looking at the sensor data or IoT-based data as well, and insights and analytics from there as well. And then finally, you should be looking at the market research, competitor analysis. I have very good example on that. Brand positioning analysis, consumer insight, user segmentation. So these are the kinds of things that you should be looking at. Being a product manager, you should be hands-on with all these kinds of data sources and be able to process and be able to get insights from all this kind of data. So right away, we will start looking into some of the tools that I've been using hands-on over the years. I won't go much into the details of Google Analytics, but I would say that I would recommend that if you are going to be a product manager, this should be your template. This should be your first ladder. This should be your first step. You have to get hands-on. You have to be an advanced user of Google Analytics, because pretty much 70 to 80% of the things you can actually perform via Google Analytics. And basic Google Analytics functionality is already good. It's already all there. But if you would like to go on a next step, all of this data you can actually get in Google Data Studio as well, and can perform customized analytics on Google Data Studio, because Google captures all of this data in Google Analytics for your app, platform, or SaaS-based application. Then if you would like to do customized analytics, right away you can import all of this data into Data Studio, and you're doing your customized analytics as well. So if you want to be a good product manager, especially if it's your first go-to, you have to learn it. You have to learn it deeper. You have to understand all the features. Very good in terms of audience, in terms of acquisition, from where your users are coming, how many users are organic, how many are direct, from the search engine optimization viewpoint, from the experience viewpoint, from a demographic, from user journeys, from pathways. Everything is actually there. The next is a tool named Hotjar. I've been using this tool in a number of ways. First way that I really like to actually use it is that it generates very intuitive heat maps. So if you have launched a digital product, by incorporating this Hotjar script into your platform or mobile app or SaaS-based application, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think it got disconnected. Are you able to view my screen now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, very good. So I was talking about Hotjar. It's a solution that allows you to track the heat maps, that where exactly are user clicking on your web page or mobile app or web application. So you, from the red, of course, is the region that is being most clicked, or that is where all the major activity is happening. So in your app, you can incorporate it in across all the pages, and you can determine that which section in the particular app is getting the most traction. And from there, you can optimize the user experience. Next tool that I would like to go deeper into is again, Hotjar. They have a tool to do the live session recording. Now, this is one of the most powerful feature that I have actually come across. And over the years of development, this kind of feature has always helped us to deliver better user experience. So what it does is that if you have a web product or mobile app or digital application, you can actually get the video, you can record the video of user getting to your web application and then going through the entire journey. Like he lands on the web page, for example, then he clicks on a particular link, then he goes down deeper and then plays a certain video. So all the user journey, basically you can actually view in live session recording. So from there on, by utilizing this kind of analytics, by utilizing this kind of feature, we were able to design a better product, because sometimes your users are struggling. If it is a complicated product, the user experience is complicated, your users are struggling to find an option. And by embedding this kind of analytics, this kind of, the product feature, you can gauge in real time that how your users are engaging with your product. So this has been the single most powerful feature that I would recommend, that being a product manager, you should be employing right away. It's again Hotjar. Another feature of Hotjar is continuous product feedback. So this is kind of embedded feedback that, for example, if you build a product, across all the product pages, you can start collecting the feedback of the user right away, whether they are happy, they would like to comment, they would like to, escalate something. So this is something that should be a part of the entire user experience in your digital products. Hotjar has another very good feature, live surveys, whereby you can actually design the surveys and you can embed it right into your application. User feedback collection and being able to connect, being able to get it into the platform and be able to perform the analysis on that. You should be having this kind of feature embedded into your application. Mixpanel is another product. It's a pixel-based solution that you can incorporate it into your platform, similar to Google Analytics, but they have some of the things that they are doing quite advanced, and you can customize it. So Mixpanel allows you more customization, but more or less what Google Analytics is able to give you, they also can give. But if you would like to go deeper and customize the overall engagement and experience, then Mixpanel is one of the products that you can look into. Heap.io is actually an ML-based platform. So if you embed this solution into your platform, into your digital product, it would be analyzing the user journeys, the customer pathways, how they are actually going through the entire platform and user experience, and they would be able to churn out AI and ML-based insights automatically to you. That if the users are dropping on a certain page, they might give you a reason. They might pop up a reason, ML-based and AI-powered reason of why is this happening. So this is, again, a very powerful tool that you should be looking into. New Relic is actually an advanced product, and that is for those who would like to bring the data analytics capabilities right into their product. From application monitoring perspective, from error tracking, infrastructure monitoring, network monitoring, browser monitoring. They have AI and alerts as well. So if you would like to go deeper to actually understand your product more, you can work with the engineering team and ask them to integrate a product like New Relic. Social listening is one of the tools. Over the years, I have developed custom social listening tools on our own. But if you would like to go with a mainstream social listening tool, Sprout Social is one, Mention.com is one, Brand24 is another one. So there are a myriad of tools that you can actually sign up and embed into your product experience. Market research, this is one tool called mangoose.com. Whenever you are developing a product, you must understand your audience and you must understand your competition. So this is an example of an insurance industry. This tool, what it allows, let's say if I go to this tool and I put travel insurance in Malaysia, I would actually be able to see that how many people are searching for travel insurance in Malaysia and what exactly they are searching for. It also gives you the autocomplete and question insight, that what questions are people asking on Google and Bing related to the travel insurance. So it applies to all kinds of industry. All you need is a keyword. You give a keyword, whatever domain that you are working on, it will give you the insights based on that. How many people are searching, what Google is suggesting them, what are the kind of questions that they are asking. So this is a very powerful tool for your market research. You can download this data and then you can actually start doing your advanced analytics, and based on that, you can take informed decisions. There is another feature in Mangoose that you can actually see the historical analytics of that particular keyword. Let's say if you talk about travel insurance, you can see the popularity over the years, like has it gone down or has it gone up? So over the years, you can ascertain that a certain thing that you are trying to do in that certain market, is it picking up the traction or is it going down? So from a product owner and product manager perspective, if you're doing something, if you're building a product for a certain market, you must have these kinds of insights, whether in that particular market, the trend is going up or going down. Competition analytics, I have always been using Alexa.com. You can use the basic free version to get all these kinds of analytics. You can see the domain authority, page authority, how many people are actually visiting their website, what are the demographics of those, from where those people are coming, all these kinds of number of people visiting their website daily, monthly, weekly, yearly, all these kinds of analytics you should be having. And of course, when you would like to track your competition, this is the basics that you should be hands-on. There is another example that you can put up a keyword, and against that keyword on Alexa, you can actually see that who is rating on top, like which are the companies who are ranking on top for that particular keyword. And then you can see their market position as well. Then there is a tool called ahref.com. This is basically a search engine optimization tool, but they have very powerful some of the other tools as well. Like this one of the example that I'm showing you over here, you can see the digital marketing campaign that particular company is actually running. So you can actually put up a keyword and see that for that keyword, what is the digital marketing campaign that your competition is running, like what Google ads your competition is showing. So you pretty much would be able to see the volume and the traffic that they are getting, and from there on you can also determine the amount of investment that they are making on these ads. So you will know that how much marketing budget your competition has, for example. And of course, when you have these insights, you can plan accordingly and execute your product strategy and marketing strategy very well. And then Ahref has this ability that you can ask questions as well, like what question you enter a particular keyword, and then you can know that what exactly people are asking. So it is aggregating the questions from Bing, from Quora, from Google. It is combining it all and giving into a single interface. So that is again very powerful tool for you. And then we have this another very powerful tool on Ahref that gives you the most powerful and trending content on social media. So you put up a keyword, let's say you put up an industry. The example is again insurance industry, but you can put any keyword. And based on that keyword, you will come to know that what is the top trending content for that keyword. And you would also know that who are the top trending pages or who are the top trending accounts which are ranking on top for that. So, I mean, this is again a part of, product development and product marketing strategy, that you would like to be on top in terms of whatever your domain is. You would always like to be ranking on top so that you can get the traffic from there. So this tool allows you to do that. You can understand what topics are those, and you can build your content development strategy around that. Finally, we will go into how you can actually become a data-driven product manager. So in terms of the capabilities that you have, in the first place, you should have the leadership skills. You should have, communication. You should have, you should be analysis oriented, data oriented. You should have the business acumen. You should be able to understand the P&L. You should be hands-on with the go-to-market or GTM strategy. You should be hands-on with market research. Then you should be very good with product design, mock-ups, and then ideation, prototyping, persona. But most importantly, you should be hands-on with data analysis. You should be able to access the data. You should be able to identify the sources. You should be able to analyze. You should be able to do A/B testing and all these. So as I highlighted earlier, if you would like to be a data-driven product manager, some of the basic tools you have to get hands-on. But for the rest of the others, let's say AI and ML based tool, you should be able to understand the workflows so that you can work closely with the data teams and the machine learning engineers and all that. But as far as the data analytics goes, if you are hands-on on those basic tools, you should be good to go. Right, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to escalate.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Tabraiz. But now we will be moving into our Q&A session. So for the first question, what are the typical roles and their tasks in a product team?
Yeah, the typical role, of course, so being the leader, you would be leading your product team. And then in product team, of course, you have multiple sub teams. So these days, people usually go for small teams, 5 to 6 people. Ideally, in a small teams, there would be, engineer. At least you should, if you're building a typical digital product, you should have 1 to 2 programmers or developers in your team. You should have a UX guy who is hands-on with the user experience design. You should have an analyst. You should have a tester who can actually test your product, and you should have a PM usually to manage the overall team. And you are looking, being a product manager, you are looking at it as a whole. You are looking at it from the technical perspective as well. So you should have a little bit of technical acumen. You should have a bit of a project management experience as well, so that you can align the project and work with the product manager closely to set their priorities and deliveries. And then, of course, you should have an acumen for product development itself. Like you should have a bit of idea about prototyping and then the user experience design. So I would say that these days the teams are small and the approach is iterative. So small teams take the sprint of about 2 to 4 weeks, and they continue to churn out repeated increased value to the product. Does that answer the question?
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
For the second question, is there any tips on how we can equip ourselves to enter a career in product management?
Definitely. So in terms of, as I highlighted in my presentation as well, the base thing to get started, if you would like to be a product developer or product manager, the first thing is that you should be business oriented. So you should have the insights of the business. So you must understand, you must go into the business shoes in order to understand the overall business workflow. So you should take a basic business management course. Then I would say that if you would like to, if you are building a digital product platform and you would like to go into the digital and SaaS-based solution, you should go a little bit on the UX side as well, because user experience these days is actually everything. If you are able to deliver, even though the product might be delivering something that somebody already is developing, but if you can come up with a great user experience, you can actually outcompete them. And this is something that I have experienced across my career. We have focused a lot always on the user experience, and it has always paid off. So I would say that once you have the business acumen, take a user experience subject or a course, or go into those kinds of things, and then you should be looking at it from the data perspective as well. So you should be hands-on. Maybe you should take an online course, or if Taylor's is offering, you should take the data analytics class, and then be able to learn some of those basic tools. So these three things with analytical thinking, you should be actually able to have all those qualities and acumen for you to develop a good product.
Okay, thank you. That's very insightful. For the next question, in your opinion, what are the highlights and lowlights of product development?
This is something that I have faced because when I can give you an example of the from my hands-on experience that we actually deliver. When we first deliver our first version of the platform, the adoption rate was 0, and people were not actually using the platform. So for us, I think it's more to do, if you talk about the enterprise and corporate and all that. For me, hands-on, the challenge has been to manage the change. So change is always difficult for people, and it's not easy to actually introduce a new idea or new solution or new product into the market or into your user, because they are accustomed to something that they have been doing over the years. So this has always been a low point to get through this phase of change management. That has always been a challenge and always been an issue. And how to overcome actually is to being able to work closely with the user. You should go into your user or customer shoes. You should sit with them, you should talk to them, you should gather their feedback and make sure that you listen to them and incorporate their feedback. And that has always paid off. That has always churned out good results for us. And the highlight is actually finally when you develop a product that is adopted by some of the leading companies in the industry and marketplace. This is what actually gives you all the satisfaction.
Okay. What is the best way to enter and climb the product management team ladder?
Yeah, so as I also highlighted in my earlier slides, that you should start with business courses. So if you have the basic business acumen, that would really help. So you take a business course, and then you should build your expertise in user experience specifically. If you have a technical background, that would really help, because being a technical, I am basically a technical product manager. So coming from the software engineering background and technical background and having a little bit of business acumen, it has always helped me to get in the shoes of my customer, get in the shoes of my developers, get in the shoes of C-level executives, and be able to jive everything from them into a product that would be liked by the users and customers. So have a bit of business acumen, have a bit of user experience and technical background. Technical is always good to have. And then, of course, you should have the data and insights background as well. That will make sure that you are climbing up the corporate ladder very fast.
Okay. What is the difference between business intelligence analyst and data analyst?
Yeah, the business intelligence analyst is actually a level above compared to data analyst, because data analyst is actually working with the data, slicing and dicing, collecting the data, cleaning up the data, and then be able to, load the data into the platform. But BI analyst would be actually able to take all of this data, which is being prepared by data analysts, and be able to tell a story. That's the major difference. So BI analyst will take this data and be able to curate a story. All the diagnostic analytics and predictive analytics, can and will be done by the BI analyst, because he will understand from the domain. He would be able to diagnose, he would be able to prescribe the data, and be able to create stories out of that data. Being a product manager as well, you should be able to tell stories about your data at the end of the day, that why is something happening and how is this happening, and what makes this thing happening. All those questions you should be able to answer by telling a data story. And all of these tools, trust me, Tableau has a very good way to tell stories, and then Power BI has very comprehensive and good ways of telling the story. So you can actually create step-by-step pages or step-by-step tabs, and whatever data you have collected, you can start churning out visually in terms of telling a story and driving them into your overall story that you're trying to depict.
Yeah, for tailors, we also started using Tableau as well.
Excellent.
So for the next question, do you think your current company allows you to grow your career?
Yeah, I mean, I started as a product manager. Basically, the idea was to develop a platform, but over the years, I have grown up to become at the level whereby I'm actually overseeing. At one point in time, we had about 35 plus people, but of course, pandemic has a direct impact on the travel and tourism industry. So we had to shrink, and we have to go down to the basic operating level. But over the years, from a small team, when I started and I building this platform, we were 2 people only. And from there on, I proved to the management that this is a product that can go to the market. This is a solution that we can sell. This is a solution that we can can give us good revenue. We started delivering step by step, small sprints, and over the years, the product kept on evolving. We kept on building more modules, more application, more integration, and eventually we won one of the biggest contract in the history of this company. So yes, it has been rewarding career. The growth was there. Fortunately, I was able to travel a lot due to this, and I was able to talk in overseas conferences, was able to attend and learn hands-on into some of the leading industry conferences. So it has been a rewarding experience for me.
That's very nice to hear from your journey. So does data-driven product management works only with tech products? For example, software or IoT devices? And what about non-tech products like shirts, shoes, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. But sorry, because I have been too centric on the digital products, but data-driven approach is applied to all kind of industry. It doesn't matter whether it's a iOS device, IoT solution, or digital solution. It applies to all kinds of solution, all kinds of products, and all kinds of application. Doesn't matter, because if it is a physical product, if it is a shoes that you are actually going to bring in the market, you still need to understand. You still need to go back and understand your competition in that market, like how is Adidas doing in Malaysia, or how what is their how many stores they have, for example. So you still have to have all of this data. You still have to have the insights. You still need to do the social listening and consumer feedback exercise. You have to do all of that for a traditional product as well. Goes without saying.
And for the last question, could you share about your typical day before and after the pandemic? And are there any big differences?
Oh, not big difference. It's upside down. It's completely upside down. So honestly, being in the software development industry, we are kind of blessed as well that the software industry, you don't have to be physically in the office anymore. And pandemic has actually taught us this lesson that we still could develop we still could deliver great product experiences. We still could actually coordinate with geographically located, developers and programmers and resources, and then we still are actually able to deliver what is desired by the company, what is desired by the business. So pre-pandemic, yes, it was traditional. Post-pandemic, it's upside down. We are still working from home, adjusting, of course, already been adjusting, or already have adjusted to the, work from home culture. And then, the basic thing is that pre-pandemic, people didn't believe in digital, but post-pandemic, people experienced it and embraced it. So all the tools that we are using across the company are cloud-based application, cloud-based platform. We are heavily making use of these cloud-based application to keep our entire workflow in the cloud. We don't have any in-office data center or in-office machine. Everything that we are operating is out in the cloud. So yes, it is possible. Yes, it has changed, and there are always, pros and cons. But I would say that yes, you can be with family and you still can work. So why not? It's good.
Yeah, it's good that a lot of us have been adapting to the pandemic at this time, even for students as well.
Yeah.
So for the next question, is there any internship opportunities in your company?
Yes, we do offer internship opportunities, especially in data science, because we are embarking on our AI-driven platform as well. And I would like to really welcome if you would like to be a part of this journey. You can go to TravelCompute and submit your interest over there. TravelCompute.com, it's one word, and submit your interest via the contact us form.
So for those who want to apply for an internship opportunity in your company, they can find you guys on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, they can actually connect me on LinkedIn. They can connect with Cheryl as well. She can pass, so that should be okay. Please feel free to reach out.
All right. Maybe it'll be good if you can drop in your LinkedIn profile and the details in the chat later for the rest of the audiences to refer.
Absolutely.
And the next question is, could you share how your company handled the loss because of the pandemic?
Honestly, it's been tough. Just now I highlighted that we were a company of about 30 to 35 people. And because it's travel and tourism company, we are part of the travel and tourism company. And you know that due to the pandemic, travel and tourism and aviation industry is the worst hit industry. So we actually had to bear the brunt of the pandemic right away. From our revenues of the travel group dropped by 90%, and we really had to feel the burn. So of course we had to scale down. What we did is that we still maintained our core platform. We still maintained whatever we need to carry our core operation, basic operation. So we scaled down rather than focusing on product development, churning out new product, new feature, new platform. We put everything aside and we focus on maintaining the core product. And we maintain those resources, and we, for about a year and a half, we had to just do that to just sustain ourselves, because if we don't do that, we would be out of the business and it would be a closed shop. And due to that strategy, we managed to sustain that time. And now the things are starting to open up and our operations are starting to get back to normal. So this is the time that we are now looking to scale up already.
Okay, so for the last question before we end this session, is there any advice or words of encouragement for students that would like to venture into this industry?
Yes, definitely. I mean, most of what I have learned across my career journey has been on my own. So I have made extensive use of online resources, especially YouTube, Google, Pinterest, SlideShare, all these platforms are really, really good for you to learn. So in this era, learning anything is very, very easy compared to 90s. So I would say that start putting whatever you would like to learn, start putting 15, 20 minutes, half hour every day. Don't set yourself a target of 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours a day. Give yourself a small sprints, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day. The most important thing that you have to be consistent. You have to be putting the time every single day without fail. If you do that, if you put that theme into your daily workflow, you will succeed. There is nobody stopping you from the success. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tabraiz, for this insightful session. I truly believe that all of us have learned something from this, and from all the different platforms available for data analytics and the information that can be gathered through data.